welcome once again to Walking with J.Beau. On this fine late afternoon, early evening, 6:30 p.m., 81 degrees, a little on the humid, muggy side. Dew point is about 68, 70. And we had a heat advisory today, which, to be honest with you, I really don't think it was necessary. So, we're going to go on our walk. We're going to do a basic 5-miler tonight. Joints are a little stiff today. They may loosen up while I'm walking. Hope everybody's having a really good week. Brought some water with me, just in case we have to go that route. Get some bugs bugging me as I'm walking. Like I said, it's very humid. But we got a cool front going through, and we are going to have nice cool weather, and the weather looks really nice and moderate for the next quite a few days, as in nothing but sunshine and happiness. Low humidity. So today's the last muggy day we're going to have for a little while, it looks like, which is always nice to get. The end of July into August. And we get the dog days of August here. Sometimes we get 95 degrees, very, very humid, miserable. So I decided to walk while it was still daylight tonight, because I enjoyed my walk last night, but I got back too late, and by the time I cooked spaghetti, had a shower and everything, it was later than I would have liked. So we'll get the walk in past late afternoon where it's not as hot, and for the evening. So we do have some interesting things to discuss today. Something I did not mention on yesterday's walk last night, which I should have, is the death of Hulk Hogan, the Hulkster. Did not expect that, and it's one of those things. I think he was 71. That's awfully young these days. I don't know what his exact cause of death was. Haven't looked into it. Hello. So I've not looked into the cause of death given. I don't know what his past steroid use was in the past, because he was bodybuilding at a time where a lot of people were using steroids. And also, he was into, he was addicted to drugs because of injury, which was a very common thing for people to be injured and then get addicted to painkillers. And I remember seeing an interview with him before Trump was president again, talking about how he was severely addicted to painkillers because of back pain, back injury, and these drugs cause a lot of physical problems. And I believe he cleaned himself up, and it wasn't easy. So, and I do know that just a few months ago, he and his wife were baptized and born again. And Christianity was very important to him, as it is to me and you as well, probably. So he did a good thing and cleansed his soul. So anyway, I was never really into wrestling. I'll say that up front. I never really followed the Hulkster's career. I never followed McMahon and all the antics that went on with wrestling. I know it's very popular with a lot of people. I'm not knocking it, it's just something I was never into. And I just knew Hulk Hogan as a good person. And that's about basically all there is to that. So, plus everybody remembers the "I am a real American" song that he did, music video, which I thought was cool. And so anyway, we lost the Hulkster. It was nice seeing him at the Republican convention this past summer after Trump's assassination attempt. It was a pretty moving speech he gave. Sure, he'll always be remembered for that. That was one of the things that was shown quite a bit after his passing, as well as it should be. And he took a stand. He got canceled for it too. They all do. Roseanne Barr canceled. You go along with the right and you're finished in Hollywood. And it turns out Hollywood is the one that's finished. They're not doing so good right now. And I'm happy to see it. Very happy to see it. So I will be doing a selfie view in a little bit. Gotta get up past the curve here where I have to watch traffic. Safety first, my friends, safety first. So we do have other things to discuss tonight, this early evening. Watched President Trump earlier land in Scotland, and also watched him before he took off, before he headed to Scotland. And he was talking, he was asked a question about Maxwell, Jeffrey Epstein's faithful grooming madam. Well, we got a little more information today, but first I'll tell you what Trump said. President Trump stated emphatically today, he goes, you know, why aren't people asking about Larry Summers, former president of Harvard, Larry Summers, on Epstein Island with Epstein? How come people aren't talking about the 28 times that Bill Clinton went to Epstein Island? Now, it's long been known that the Clinton rebuttal to that is that Clinton never went to that island. The only time he was flying around with Epstein, get this, you ready? Is when Epstein was associated with the Clinton Foundation. So it's amazing how many times Bill and Hillary Clinton turn up in child trafficking situations and laundering money through the Clinton Foundation. Like the money stolen from Haiti when they had a major earthquake. People donated millions of dollars. Right? And nobody knows where that money went, and Haiti is still a shithole. None of that money went to help them. So it was stolen. Washed, in my opinion, through the Clinton Foundation, which John Podesta and his brother was associated with also. And it was money laundering, probably USAID money that has now been cut off. And also want to mention, as a side note real quick, has anybody noticed since USAID money has been cut, how many media outlets all of a sudden are losing money? More than they were, laying people off, canceling late night TV shows. How much of that USAID money went to promoting Democrat propaganda for media outlets? I think a lot of it. Just my opinion. It's my opinion, okay? But it seems like a coincidence that that money was turned off, and now all of a sudden these agencies are bleeding money like crazy. Something to think about. So anyway, President Trump implicated former President Bill Clinton today and Larry Summers. Larry Summers, liberal leftist. One of the reasons why our colleges are all messed up today and brainwashing kids is this guy. And I call college kids kids, even though they're not kids technically. They're over 18 in most cases, going to college. Point being, they are being brainwashed regardless with our money. So that's been cut off as well. And Trump knows a lot of people that have a lot of money, and he knew what was going on there because he associated with Epstein. And I can tell you right now, especially after today's developments, I am 100% emphatically sure Trump is not implicated in any of these files for criminality. 100% sure. How do I know this? Well, today, Assistant AG Todd Blanche, French name by the way, stated that Ghislaine Maxwell answered all the questions, pleaded no constitutional right she had to be quiet. She answered all questions in detail, he said. Maxwell's attorney, I don't know his name, but Maxwell's attorney stated that she cooperated fully, answered all questions, invoked no constitutional rights, and Maxwell's attorney is looking for a pardon from President Trump. In exchange, you ready for this? 100 names of people to presumably start investigating and prosecuting. So you would have to do a kind of a weird gut check, because I absolutely do not want her to get a pardon. Now, she can be granted clemency, which means she would be let out for time served and it would still be on her record. She wants to be pardoned, like have that expunged. And the only way that would be done is if they seriously got some big names in exchange. And I don't see that happening. I still think she would take clemency to get out of jail. That's her main purpose, really. So I think she'll take what she can get. So this is going to be interesting, my friends. We're going to watch what happens. But it's very obvious Trump is the one doing the pardoning. And if she gives up 100 names, which supposedly that's what she did, she has 100 names she's going to give up. Chances are any or all of them would know if Trump was at Epstein Island or did anything illegal. So things are happening, and it's like I was telling you all a while back, after he was sworn in. It's going to take a little while to get going, but we're going to see some crap happen. Stuff we've never seen before, and it's going to be amazing, which it is. And things are happening, and it's almost a good thing now that the media and Democrats seized on this Epstein thing. And they're seizing on it because they want to cover up the Obamagate, Russiagate, which is also making news today. Tulsi Gabbard has officially made a criminal referral to the Department of Justice for Barack Obama. That happened today. So now that's official. Whether the DOJ pursues charges or not, I don't know. If there's evidence to charge him, they will. But we have to remember, like Trump said today, it's going to be a little difficult with the presidential immunity clause that the Supreme Court ruled on Trump's behalf. Now, the catch to that Supreme Court ruling is that you would have to prove that what Obama did was with intent to commit a crime, which would be treason and sedition. The reason why it's treason is Trump was a duly elected president, and they organized the witch hunt we know about. They organized the Russian collusion Robert Mueller special counsel, And they put Trump through hell and the voters for at least 2 years. So for most of Trump's presidency, they hampered him, and that's treason, sedition, with false information. False. That's the key thing. They knew it was false and did it anyway. So, but like Trump said today, if Obama can't be prosecuted, his circle around him surely can be. They're not protected by immunity. And I say, let's do it. Susan Rice, James Clapper, John Brennan, James Comey. The least likely to get prosecuted out of that bunch would be James Comey. So, it's happening, folks. It's gonna happen. Hang on to your asses, friends. It's coming. I don't get excited about things until I know something's happening. But if they're giving press conferences and they're talking about indictments and criminal referrals, you can bet your ass if there's anything to prosecute somebody on, Pam Bondi will seek an indictment. Clapper on TV yesterday on MSNBC said he's already lawyered up because he expects a reckoning. So I'm sure they all have attorneys right now. And James Comey, typical James Comey, went online and started running his mouth about his daughter being fired. And she's one of the problems. She works for the government, or worked for the government. Now she's out of a job. He was upset about it. Was running his mouth. And then this news broke. So this is why these people need to, you know, they need to have an attorney. James Comey knows better. You know, sometimes you just gotta shut the fuck up, you know? So hopefully he has a hissy fit and runs his mouth more. He hasn't since the announcements today. So this is gonna be interesting. And we're gonna be along for the ride, my friends. We are going to see some shit, man. I'm getting excited. So, there we have it. Enjoy your week, ladies and gentlemen. On this beautiful Friday. It's Friday. Trump is in Scotland. He's going to make 2 stops in Scotland. One is at a golf course, one of the ones he owns. There's a big tournament that's going to be played. And the other stop has to do with a city in Scotland that is one of the energy nerve centers for all of Europe for oil. So he's going to be stopping in there, and very happy with the huge trade deal he just did with Japan, which the media is not really talking about. They're not talking about it because it puts Trump in a good light, really good light, because this has never been done before. The United States now has a 15% tariff on Japanese exports, and Japan has opened their market to only the United States. This is something Japan has guarded forever and a week. Countries have wanted to get into Japan's market. A lot of people live in Japan, and a lot of them have money, so they have given the United States full access to Japanese markets. First time ever. And that's because we protect them with the military, and Trump basically told them, you know, well, we've been paying for your defense. We need something in return. You know, nobody's ever asked you this before, but we're asking now. And Trump said, you know, we've had a whole bunch of these stupid trade deals for many years now that should never have been made. Stupidly made, I believe is the quote. And Trump said whoever negotiated these deals were morons, didn't know what they were doing. I believe that. And I think it all stemmed from all of the financial harm that we got from South Korea in the 90s and Japan in the late 70s, early 80s, until Ronald Reagan put the kibosh on that. So that was damage done by another liberal president, Jimmy Carter. And it seems like we're always cleaning up after Democrat financial disasters. And so this is all really awesome. This is going to be great. We also had $300 and something billion surplus in the Treasury for the first time in decades. That was also talked about yesterday from tariffs. This is all revenue taken in by tariffs. Inflation didn't go up like they said it would if we used tariffs. Stock market didn't crash. It's actually the highest it's ever been right now because of tariffs. And people that knew what they were doing got things done. And people that didn't know what they're doing were the ones that were fear-mongering everybody. Probably because they hate Trump. They want to see Trump fail. And they probably honestly believed that Trump was going to fail. So, but Trump has the best people, best minds in the world in his administration. So this is all really interesting, I think. We're going to see some good stuff. Things are awesome right now, man. Things are looking good. Like, I mean really good. Like, this stuff is starting to kick in. It's like we're right in between. We're still in the purgatory. We're about ready to launch like a rocket. And if it does, we are going to win midterms next year. So nothing from this point on is as it was in politics. Everything is going to be different. Democrats are dropping the ball again. They're good at it. They're spending all their energy and time trying to tie Trump to Epstein, hoping they can end Trump. It's like a Hail Mary play. Instead of just coming up with policies. Fucking come up with something, guys. How stupid do you have to be? You've been doing this with Trump since 2015. You've lost 2 presidential elections. You've had the House for maybe 4 years, not consecutively. What are you guys doing, Democrats? Stupid people. Doing the same thing, expecting a different result. That is literally the definition of stupid. Anyway, I'm going to flip the camera back. I just wanted to say hi, so you can see how happy I am today with all this great news going on today. Awesome stuff. Enjoy it. Gloat. Rub it in their faces. There we go. There we have it. Oh, there's my doggy friends out there. I do that every time I go by and they're out there. Roof, 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 roof. Hi, doggies. Now they're not barking. They know better, because if they start barking, oh, that's what that was. Kid's car is backfiring. I knew it wasn't gunshots. I thought it was like a paintball gun or something. I was gonna like, yeah, go ahead, take a shot at me, you little bastard. I always worry about stuff like that walking. It's once in a while, and you've seen it happen to me. I'll be walking and, you know, somebody will scream something at me while driving by to make me jump. And I've had I've had a Nerf dart shot at me by a kid that was going by. One of those Nerf gun bullets, you know what I mean? Like, yeah, okay, well, haha, that's cute. Yeah, nobody has shot at me yet with a paintball gun, thankfully, because that could hit me in the eye. I could lose eyesight, and it makes me wonder, obviously, with the laws the way they are, I don't think I would be able to pull my firearm to defend myself, because paintballs aren't going to kill me. I think I would come up short on that one. I'd have to stand there with them shooting at me with a paintball gun, laughing at me because it hurt, and I wouldn't be able to shoot back. That would be a tough one. Maybe I would take it out and show it to them and they would leave. Maybe that would work, and they're not going to call the police because I pulled a gun on them. They were shooting at me with a paintball gun. You know, sometimes people are just crap. You know, my brother Jim sent me a photo today, asked me if because he was at work, asked me if I could see or zoom in on the license plate, because somebody hit his truck while he was parked and drove off, of course. So he got just a little scratch. I mean, it wasn't like major damage, but it's the principle of the thing. You know, he's had dents in the parking lot where people drove off that left damage. When you build mall stores, you park in the mall parking lots. So, and it doesn't matter where you park in the big cities. I park way away from the store here, a small town, Maine, and I have a dent in the back of my Mustang from a shopping cart. Looks like. Can't do nothing about it. Unless you're there when they do it. So anyways, As the old saying goes, my friends, what a time to be alive. So this may turn into a blessing with all these people demanding Epstein files, because there's a lot of Republicans demanding them. Their offices are getting a lot of phone calls from voters. I'd be willing to bet the people calling their offices, a lot of them that are calling are not Republican voters, they're Democrat voters trying to pressure the Epstein files. So be careful what you guys wish for, that's all I'm saying. I know Trump is innocent and they think this is all going to get Trump just because of how he was in that cabinet meeting. Turns out, would not surprise me if one of his big donor friends was one of the people that he knows is guilty, and you know, he might be protecting people, which would not be a good look either, because allegedly there were hundreds of victims, supposedly about 1,000 minors run through that trafficking thing. And I'd love to see that whole trafficking operation exposed. You have to remember that Prince Andrew settled out of court when a witness filed a lawsuit against him. It wasn't a criminal lawsuit, it was a civil one. And he settled. And you don't settle something like that unless it's true, because that cost him his association with the crown, and the Queen Mother pretty much disowned him over it behind closed doors, from what I've read. So there's no way he paid up like that, got the consequences he did, if he wasn't guilty. So there absolutely is a Epstein run crap on his island. And the other thing is about the Epstein flight logs, is the flight logs, okay, this is very important too. St. Thomas is nearby, so Epstein would fly his plane to St. Thomas, and the only thing on Epstein Island is a helipad. You can find it on Google Maps if you want and look at it for yourself, like I did. But there's a helipad there, and a transport area for supplies. And so anyway, people would either fly by helicopter to Epstein Island from the airport in St. Thomas, or they would go via yacht or a boat, other kind of boat, speedboat or whatever. So we've got 2.5 miles. I don't have to use the public restroom. We're going to march on this way. So, hi. I don't know if you caught that. The kid looked at my face and then he looked at my shirt and he turned into stone. I guess he doesn't like my shirt. Well, sucks being you. You're missing out on the best president of all time because you're young and believe what people told you to believe. Meanwhile, I'm walking on sunshine. Ooh. Happy days, my friends. Happy days. Right. Had the rest of my spaghetti I made last night for lunch before this walk, late lunch. Pasta walks good. I'll just throw that out there. Pasta is carbohydrate. I don't know if it's the best carbohydrate, but it walks good, as I put it. About an hour after eating, you get all kinds of energy to walk. So right now I feel like the Democrats are the dog chasing the car, which is Epstein Trump, and they're about to catch the car, and the car is going to be a dog catcher. They're so obsessed with Trump, and they don't care. They really don't. Jamie Raskin, a ranking Democrat, was on MSNBC, and they asked him, aren't you afraid this is going to implicate any Democrats? You know? And why didn't you guys do anything when you had the files? He always likes to make up excuses. So what he said was, and this is comical on its face, we don't use the judicial system to go after political opponents, so that's why nobody looked into prosecuting Trump. I'm like, are you out of your fucking mind? Nobody in this universe believes that for 2 seconds. That's friggin' rich, isn't it? These people are just shameless. These people are friggin' shameless, folks. To utter something that ridiculous after everything that they have done, to say that if they knew they had something on Trump, we didn't know it was there because we didn't look. Are you fucking crazy? Nobody believes that. Nobody. So, and then he said about the implication of Democrats. Well, like I said, we want to find justice for the victims, no matter who it is. So I'm telling you right now, they're going to find Democrats in that. Democrat donors are going to get implicated. And the Democrats will have done it because they could have just left this alone. So, this is going to be so good. This is going to be so fucking good, guys. It's happening. Very excited. One thing I am disappointed about, though, is we just had a squirrel running along, cross over the road on a wire, and I was filming me instead of that. So we missed the squirrel. Ooh, I'm sweating my can. So, things are rolling. All right, I'm gonna turn the camera back around now. I just wanted to gab. I just wanted to gab at you. There we go. Kids are out here having fun. Make sure I don't have anything on the lens. They told you good things were coming, and I said when they started happening, they were going to happen fast, didn't I? Every day there's a big news story. Enjoy the ride. Watch and enjoy. Right, we're walking along here. It was interesting last night. That guy up ahead here in last night's video who tripped and hurt himself using a walker. He stubbed his toe on one of those water shutoff valves that stick up out of the sidewalk. Said there was a hole there, and it's probably where there was a turnoff, and it got ripped up by the snow plow on the sidewalk this past winter. Make sure I don't step on any of these crack sealer, still wet. I don't want it on my shoes. I watch where I walk. I'll go down this way. Oh. So we got that chute cycling jug last night during the walk, which was nice. Laundry jugs are the best. They're just the right size to put on a good show when you shoot them, if you hit them in the right spot. Oh, yeah, pretty awesome day today. We had the threat of thunderstorms earlier. We do have a cold front going by tonight. Well, they call it a cold front, but it's really a cool front. And the air is going to dry out. It's going to be nice. It's going to be around 60 degrees at night, 80 during the day. The next quite a few days, actually. It's going to be very nice. Great walking weather. So I'm going to try to think of a couple places to go hiking that maybe we haven't gone to yet, or at least haven't gone to since last year. That's different. What's really surprised me is how cheap CDs are right now. Audio CDs. Not new ones, I mean, well, actually a lot of new ones too. You can get new ones with free shipping now, 10 bucks. On Discogs, eBay, other places that sell. Vinyl records are the expensive stuff. And I don't mind getting CDs if they are hard to find vinyl albums, or ones where the reissue wasn't done very well on vinyl. Like, for example, a band called Coroner, a heavy metal band I liked in the 80s. I have their cassette tape that I bought way back when, and their CD is about $8 or $9 new. Their vinyl record, even the one that's reissued that's not a good quality, $30, $40. Original ones, if you could find a copy of it, $70, $80, $90 from 1989. It's like, nah, nope. So that's one. That's one where a CD works. Excuse me. And whenever I do get CDs, I try to get the European releases for them because they were manufactured better. You know, the United States always was cheap with their production, and they wanted all the money in the world. Do you remember vinyl records? You'd buy the vinyl record and there would be a piece of paper smushed into the vinyl. Most of the time they played fine, but you know where that paper comes from? That is from recycling. Taking old records, remelting them, and pressing new vinyl. American companies didn't bother, a lot of them, with removing the paper labels. They just melted everything and repressed records. Who cares? Some of them, after they were pressed, they'd pull them out and throw them away. But a lot of them got sold because it only had like a small piece of paper mark in it, and you know. And I remember back in the day, it was often pretty difficult to return something to get a refund or exchange for another one. These record stores did not want to honor that, because vinyl records were kind of iffy when you'd buy them. It all depended on what kind of deal they had from the label distributor they ordered them from for their store. Some were easy to work with, and some were like, all sales are final. We're not going to credit you on returns. So I learned early on that if you got a vinyl record that had a defect, you were stuck with it. the best way to fix it was to get another one. Modern times, I was very happy with Metallica buying their own record presses for blackened music, and they're making their own vinyl records, cutting out the middleman and production costs. So coincidentally, the Metallica albums are all about 20 bucks each instead of 25 to 30 like other people, because they're making them in-house, and they're good quality. Warner Brothers was pressing them. I don't know who they got to do it, but there's a couple of Metallica reissues I bought. They're freaking horrible. One side has a warp that's up and down in the grooves themselves. The record's not warped. The grooves on the record is just poorly pressed. And another one is poor sound quality. So I ended up repurchasing those after Metallica acquired them. And as I've stated on these walks, if you want to know if it comes from the Metallica press, on the inner matrix near the label, in the dead wax, you will actually see in quotations, pressed on the Metalli press. That means Metallica pressed it themselves, and it's a good pressing. So they didn't like what was getting issued, and they are fans of vinyl records too. So they ended up pressing their own records, and they're good. So I have a Kill 'Em All pressing, which isn't very good sounding at all, a reissue. And I wished it was one of the good ones. That's one I need to replace. But the reason why I haven't replaced it, because to be honest about it, I have two Metallica Kill 'Em All pressings. One of them's a South Korea pressing from 1988 or 86. And one is a Record Club pressing. And they both sound amazing. So I don't think I need a remastered version of that, which would only be about 20 bucks. But can't buy like 3-4 copies of the same album for everything. And I also like the way that CD sounds. I have that on CD that I bought in the 80s. So I'm good with it. The Korean copy sounds absolutely amazing. I had an original when Metallica first reissued these albums after those bad pressings, and they first started issuing some with their own presses. They came out with a box set which had some memorabilia in it and posters, and I had the Metallica one for Kill 'Em All and Ride the Lightning, and I sold both of them. And you're probably wondering, well, why the hell would you sell those? Well, because I paid about $60 each for them, and I got about $300 each for them on resale. And this was before Metallica reissued the reissues you can buy now. So the value of what I sold went down already about $200. So I sold it right at the right time, and I knew it was, because I knew Metallica was going to be reissuing their entire catalog again themselves, and they would be done properly. So sometimes you got to jump on it when it happens. So ended up doing pretty well on that one. motorcycles. Well, good walk today anyway. Getting a good workout, got a good sweat going. Somewhere, at some point, this battery is going to give out. Somewhere around 20% right now, I think. I got an extra in my pocket. Oh, that reminds me, batteries. I saw a video earlier just issued by the New York Fire Department stating how they have had an 87% increase in structure fires, residential structure fires. And then he attached videos in it, and the videos were of electric bicycles. And he was reminding people that ion batteries catch on fire. And you should not charge those inside your house or inside hallways. And a lot of people run a cord out to their bikes in the hallway because they don't want their bike stolen in New York City. Because it will be stolen if you leave it outside. Because New York City is so wonderful. But he attached footage of firefighters pulling bicycles fully engulfed in flames through doorways of apartment buildings out onto the sidewalk. So apparently these electric bikes are very dangerous. Usually the culprit of that is overcharging, leaving it plugged in after it's charged. And from what I've read, people need to be aware of that. So don't charge them inside your house, unattended. If it's in the house with you while it's charging and you start smelling it and seeing a little bit of smoke, then you know to unplug it. They don't just burst right into flame, but I can tell you, when these ion batteries catch on fire, it doesn't take long before they are fully aflame. And they burn until they go out. They're very difficult to put out. So even if you're watching it and it starts doing that, chances are if it catches on fire, you're not putting it out even with a fire extinguisher in your kitchen. So they're very dangerous. And there's a video I saw online once. I'm gonna turn this around. There was a video I saw online once where someone was working out in a gym lifting weights, and he dropped his weight and it broke his phone because he had his phone on the floor in front of him recording himself working out, which some people do, you know, social media. Well, he dropped the weight and it hit the phone and broke the glass. Well, within seconds, and this phone wasn't even plugged in charging, within seconds that phone caught on fire and exploded. Fire everywhere. And he picked it up and brought it outside. Big trail of smoke. So these batteries, even in a phone, when they get damaged, They go right up. Very dangerous. And that's why when we see these electric cars burn, fire department can't put them out. Pretty much you gotta let them burn till they burn itself out. So I just thought I would mention that. So if you have an electric bike, be very careful, or anything electric that's rechargeable. Could be rechargeable power tools, anything. These batteries can be very dangerous, left unattended. So Apple had a problem for a while where people were using Chinese-made Apple counterfeit chargers. People would see it has an Apple logo on it, and oh wow, it's $10 cheaper than the Apple one that sells for 20 bucks. This one sells for 10. Says Apple on it. You buy it and it's not the same quality. And a lot of phones caught on fire and burned apartments and injured people. There have been people that had phones catch on fire in their pocket. Remember that? I forgot what brand it was. I think it was Samsung. Which bothers me because I have a Samsung phone, but I researched this phone and there's no known incidents for this phone, this model. And they don't have those problems anymore. But 10 years ago they did. So, kind of interesting. I'm going to turn this around again. I just like to come on once in a while and babble. But, and I take the time to lower this. I could leave this tube extended, but you can actually hear it while I'm walking when I do that. So we're at 8%, so I'm going to go ahead and change the battery. There we go. We got a fresh battery. We'll be winding down the walk after about another mile. Anyway. So I weighed myself today after I got up. And I prefer to weigh myself not wearing anything. First thing in the morning, that's your lowest, most accurate weight before drinking any liquids or anything like that. And getting rid of your night's stored liquids in the morning when you wake up. And that was 226. So I seem to have leveled off at a certain weight. I'm not starving myself. I had a big, huge plate of spaghetti last night with meat and fried up some onions. Had some more of that today. It's all gone now. And I do not starve myself. In fact, I'm going to have some fried potatoes tonight, stir fry. And I'm going to have some onions with it. With some rice, piece of meat, and some broccoli. I'm going to have some broccoli. Cooked from raw broccoli. I don't like anything that's been sitting in liquids a long time, especially with salt. It permeates everything, changes the flavor, kind of dulls it. I like having fresh vegetables, cook them up, steam them in the microwave. And then I put salt on them. Salt or pepper, or melt some butter, or whatever. It tastes more better. So we're going to have onions cooked from raw, potatoes cooked from raw. I don't peel the potatoes, I leave the skins on them. And And you can bake a potato also. If it wasn't hot, probably would do that. And you get the broccoli from raw. I cook rice from raw. I smell somebody spray painting. Got a compressor out here. Get some rattle cans. Nice day today, friends. Trump's going to have a good weekend in Scotland. Hopefully he gets out on the golf course, enjoys himself. Skeeters are coming out. I just had that familiar mosquito buzz by my right ear. That's why I slammed myself in the head. Four and a half miles now. Go across the street. These damn bugs. Sun's going away and the bugs are coming out. This is when you get eaten alive. I gotta keep walking. As soon as you slow down, they catch up with you. Bugs! I hear a motor. Somebody mowing. Something I gotta do soon too. And we're gonna have good weather to mow the lawn coming, so that'll be get done shortly. We haven't had rain, so grass is always so much easier to mow when it's not wet. Somebody's mowing behind that fence. Little swimming pool in there. Hope he doesn't go in the pool. So some places in Maine had some pretty nasty thunderstorms today, further up north. They stayed away from us, which is good. I mean, I don't know how many storms have gone 15, 20 miles north of us all summer long. And we got just some dark clouds and a shower. Couple of thunder boomers, flash of lightning or two. Nothing menacing. It's not always that way. I am saturated in sweat. That's okay though. I'm nice. I'll walk into a nice air-conditioned place. I'm gonna strip, get in the shower, hose myself off, have something to eat. Gonna be coming up on 5 miles shortly. I'll sign off with you. Up ahead, up yonder, cut through here. Nice walk today. Oh, this looks familiar. Yeah, we started to walk this way. That's why. Yeah. Got a car right there. It's about ready to not get a sticker. Probably doesn't have one now. Rockers all rusted out. Cracked windshield. Definitely does not have a sticker. There's no sticker on the windshield. And I'm telling you, if you don't get pulled over for a traffic stop, nobody here polices that. Now, if you get pulled over, you'll get a citation or a warning, depending on how long it's been since it expired. So, I believe the fine is $170 something. And if you get a sticker before, you go to court for it. If you do go to court for it, then they lower the price. You know, we see a lot of very angry liberals. They're angry. They're going to be really angry when Trump isn't implicated with the Epstein thing after the Democrats and media got all their hopes up again. They've been doing this to these people since 2015, and they keep falling for it. So, how many times have we heard in the news, the walls are closing in on Donald Trump, on Mr. Trump, they say. The walls are closing in. The drip, drip, drip of Russia collusion. The walls are closing in. These people are so stupid. So they're doing it again. The drip, drip, drip of Epstein files. The walls are closing in on Donald Trump. Anyways, my friends, thank you for walking with me. Click like and subscribe. Share the content. God bless you. God bless America. Say a prayer for Trump and the country. And I'm not ready to say, well, I should. No, I'm not going to say anything. Anyways, I'll wish the Democrats luck. God bless all of you, and we will see you on the next walk. All right? Peace out, my friends. enjoy what's happening. This is great. Watch the circus. See you later, everybody. Have a good weekend.